Hi, I'm David from Eagles Way Healing, and today we're going to explore what actually happens during a session, as in the nuts and bolts of how a session works. Now, on the website, eagleswayhealing.com, under the About Us section, there's quite a detailed description on how the healing process works. This is more talking from the practitioner's point of view, actually how it works, what's going on. So initially there is an intention. The client comes to the session with an intention. In this session, I would like to do this. Now that intention gets checked, it gets clarified. Can we help this person today? And we check that, and yes, and then we keep on going with the session. Or there may be something of high value that they need to address. Sometimes people come in with the guise that I want help with this one small thing, but the real issue is something a lot bigger. Once we address their intention, then we can go to identifying the specific energies at play. We define them adequately so they can be seen by awareness. And then once they're seen in their whole state, we can clear that energetic mass, whether it's linked to past lives or past situations or ancestral energies or just current stuff in their energetic field. We clear that mass away, and the clearing is done by focusing energy and intention to clear specifically all those energies that have been identified. So there's a link. So the person you're helping has an understanding and knowingness that that's what's being cleared. You've defined it all, you've painted a picture of it in the energetic world, and then you remove it. After clearing, there'll no longer be any energetic mass supporting their current concern, and often the symptoms will vanish entirely and it will disappear from their reality. That's how it works. Sometimes there's a slight delay. Often it's instantaneous, and often there can be a slight delay because the way these energies work, it's like a radiation burn. You focus the energy, you put the energy on there, and there's an after effect where it just keeps on working long after you've set the intention and put the energy in or remove the energy. It just keeps on going for a period of time afterwards. The basic mechanics of finding these energies and focusing on that, on the truth and the essence of the problem, is that there's self-muscle testing where I can test on behalf of the client who is sitting on the other side of the computer anywhere in the world. So I'm testing on behalf of them. I'm using that in collaboration with an Eagles Way healing chart, which is a special chart of emotions that are most commonly found in my experience healing people. So that has a broad spectrum which covers almost 100% of what you can find. Not always, but it covers pretty well everything. So using the muscle testing in combination with the chart, it helps you chunk down and allows you to have a very clear description of what's going on. Now that's the first level when I'm teaching people how to do this. And it's really good scaffolding, and it gives people confidence to do that. The more you do it, the more intuitive you become, and the more awareness and knowingness can be channeled through you, so you can become very attuned. The more you practice as a healer, the more your intuition and understandings and insights become more powerful and more stronger and more reliable. So you still use the scaffolding of muscle testing and chart work, but as you progress, that insight and knowingness just becomes more natural. So you still cross-check to make sure that you're on track and you're moving in the right direction and everything's pinpointed exactly where it needs to be pinpointed to get the best result possible for your client. So that's the mechanics of defining. The clearing those blocks once they're defined it's simply energy and intention, a combination of both. So you're projecting the energy with the intention of clearing away whatever the block was you've just defined. So with that powerful intention, as well as directing that energy, it just washes it all away. And the more you practice, the more powerful your intention becomes, and the more you work with energy, the more powerful that becomes. And it's like a muscle that builds up over time. So your intention can be incredibly powerful. So you know with 100% certainty that this will be moved, and it moves. When people are beginning, it's a little bit slower, and you start off with smaller steps. So at the very, very start of the session, can we help this person today? A very beginner person, yeah, they could help the person, but they'll help them that much. But they'll still help them. It'll be to the amount their ability can take them. And the deeper and more profound the impact, there's a correlation between that and the more experience you have as a healer. And the more you stay present, non-mind, and practice, and the more clients you see, it builds up. It's a process that builds, and you become more confident, more assured, until you have absolute certainty, without a shadow of a doubt, that you can change the person's life who you're working with irreversibly, in a massively positive way. And when you have that certainty, it's amazing. You can do really amazing things. During the process, it's like clearing the surface layer of impurities off our true nature, so our essence can radiate. One example, I'll give 2 examples. One at one end of the spectrum, somebody could be experiencing very low-level depression or anxiety, and it's just constant background noise, this negative, depressive energy. And when that's removed, it's suddenly removed instantaneously. It's just gone. And when that happens, they can suddenly experience space and clarity, and they experience the world in a whole different way. And instead of all their focus being in this depressive world, they now suddenly have insights into a whole brand new existence. And it's an incredibly uplifting experience. On the other end of the spectrum, the other example could be somebody who is usually in quite a very high vibrational state, who's a very enlightened person, who the nature of that kind of state is that if you're in that state long enough, nothing bothers you, which is great. But then you dip back down into the noise of the mind and these emotional energies, and then you go back up into that state. And the longer you stay there, everything slowly falls away after a period of time. However, not many people are at that state consistently, and people will fall back down and up again. what this does is when you fall down, you remove those energetic masses. So when they get triggered by whatever it is, the trigger doesn't access this huge big lake of negative emotions. So the lake is dried, it's gone, there's nothing there. They get triggered and there's nothing there but awareness of, oh, that's interesting. And that's it. And they're still at that level without being pulled into the mire. So the basic fundamentals of the healing is to remove negative energies that feed into the conscious and subconscious mind that take you away from experiencing your true nature. That's the basic fundamental essence of the healing. Healings can sometimes be very complex. It involves a deeper level of understanding and skill as a practitioner. But that's what I've just described as the basic nuts and bolts of how the healing modality works, and absolutely anybody can learn it. If you have the desire and willingness to learn and practice, and that's what you want to do, absolutely anybody can do that. So if that's something that resonates with people and you want to give it a go, you can do that. There's a 10-day introduction to Eagle's Way Healing on the website, which is free, because the intention is to get this healing modality to the world, to help people to become more aware and more enlightened and raise the vibration of the world. So it's there. So if it's of interest, please do it and help your friends and family, and just do it for fun. The people who want to take it a bit more seriously and go a bit deeper, yes, there's more learning and there's more deeper understandings and further courses for those who want to pursue it more seriously and get more support along the way. There's that there as well. My mission is to get this healing modality out to the world so people can alleviate pain and suffering and get an awareness of their true nature and live in that space. And it will be transformational for the world if more people are focused on that, which is happening anyway. At this point in time, the world there's a heightened level of people being more focused on these spiritual pursuits. And I think that's the most important thing that we can possibly focus on. So that gives you a rough description of what's happening during a session. And as I said, if you're keen to know more, check out eagleswayhealing.com and do the 10-day course if that resonates with you. So thank you for listening.